morning, dear students. In this video, we are going to learn about Ctenophora. This Ctenophora is a small phylum and it's generally composed of very delicate animals. They are known as comb jellies. Okay, and from where that name Ctenophora emerged? It is from Greek itself. Most of the means biological terms are emerging from Greek. Here also there is no difference for that. So from two Greek words, this name emerged. So which are those two words? Tenos. Tenos means comb. So, and one more word, forest. Forest means bearing. Comb bearing. In that sense, that name origin. And in many aspects, this phylum Ctenophora is similar with that of the Cnidarians. At the end of this chapter, we will see. And also, as we started to learn this phylum's character, we could understand that in many ways it is similar with the Cnidarians. Okay, let's start with its general characteristics. As we are learning about whatever phylum, the first point we are learning is about its habitat. So here also no difference for that means with respect to that character. First characteristics that we need to understand is about its habitat. Its habitat is marine, and symmetry. Next point is regarding the symmetry. What type of symmetry we can observe in this phylum? It is biradial symmetry. Biradial symmetry means what? We already learn in so many other phylums regarding this biradial symmetry. Biradial symmetry we have seen in the Cnidarians also. Biradial. Bi means two. Bi means two. That means if we made a cut in two planes that are passing through a central axis, it will give equal halves. Clear? We made suppose this is the organism, and if we made two cuts, one in one this plane and another cut in this plane, and these two cut can give rise to equal halves, and these two cuts are passing through a central axis also. So in such a way, if we can give equal halves, such type of symmetry is called the biradial symmetry. Then regarding its body, what are its the main features, what is its appearance, all those things we are going to see. Generally, the general outlook of all organism, most of the organism that is coming under this phylum is
found around 3,000 feet down.
You can see
Are the comb jellies.
So in this video, we are seeing about different aspects of this Ctenophora organisms. It is showing bioluminescence that we can see here. Most of them are in pear shaped, some are in ribbon shaped. All those things.
That's light refracting off thousands of tiny
Bioluminescence. Bioluminescence is another important characteristic shown by this this organism. Organism comes under this phylum, Ctenophora, and this bioluminescence is produced because of some chemical reactions that is taking place inside its body.
hairs that propel the jellies through the water.
Here, look, yeah, in its body, a transverse row of so many, means cilia. Cilia is arranged in so many transverse rows. With the help of these cilia, these organisms are moving.
Comb jellies hunt down other deep-sea critters, including each other. But they don't use stingers like regular jellyfish do.
These ctenophores, they will eat each other also. Okay.
They have other, stranger weapons. This burrowie has evolved a simple one. A big
This one is its mouth, and we can see how it.
mouth. With no brain, all it has is a primitive neural net around the mouth.
So these ctenophores do not possess any brain. Instead, it have a nerve net type of nervous system that is circulating. It's spread throughout its body.
that detects chemical traces in the water. When it bumps into something edible, it simply opens itself wide.
It's feeding.
Very wide. After the burrowee zips its mouth shut, it holds the prey in place with specialized hooks and digests it.
Once the prey is caught inside its body, then the prey got digested because of the help of some digestive juices present inside its body.
Other comb jellies have a more complicated way of snatching up prey. Coating the tentacles are specialized.
Some ctenophores have very elongated tentacles, and these tentacles are stunted with a special type of cell. A special type of cells, that means coloblasts. We will see later in this section itself. These cells are actually helping this organism to catch its prey by gluing that structure helps to glue its prey to its tentacles. So in that way of gluing the prey, it can entangle it and consume it.
Adhesive cells that act like glue. Once trapped, prey is drawn into the gut and digested. The comb jelly snaps its tentacles at this other green jellyfish. The jellyfish counterattacks with
So in that way, that's all about the general appearance, its features. So point wise, one by one, we can just go through. So see, its body is gelatinous and transparent and delicate also. So looking to the picture, we can feel that gelatinous and transparent. And most of the organism have a pear, this type of shape, pear shaped, or somehow some members have cylindrical and even ribbon shaped organisms also present under this phylum. And it has two sides, an oral side and aboral side. And in the oral side, in its center here, it possesses a mouth. It's not that much visible in this picture anyhow. Almost in this position, it possesses a mouth. And at the aboral side, they present a sensory organ, statosystem. It is present somewhere here. And it swims. How it swims? By always keeping its oral and down and aboral side upwards. In that way, in that orientation, it used to swim. And regarding its body layers, how many layers? Mainly two layers, ectodome and endodome. And between those two layers present mesoglia. Mesoglia in the center. Outside ectodome, middle mesoglia, and inner to that endodome. Then regarding its gastrovascular cavity. Gastrovascular cavity consists of mouth. It starts in mouth, and then it spread into series of many canals, and this canal spread throughout its body, and by that way whatever nutrients it is taking in, it can distribute to all other regions of its body. And one notable feature is that it lacks a permanent anus, and only during at the time to expel, to release waste, at that time a transient means not permanent, it is a temporary, a transient anus will appear and the waste will expel or release, and after that this transient anus will disappear. So that is about a notable feature, an interesting feature regarding this Ctenophora. And one of its main feature we can understood that this character is very important for this Ctenophora, that is presence of teens. Let's see, it's a notable feature. What is this feature? What is this characteristics? It's the presence of rows of ciliary plates. These teens are rows of ciliary plates. Cilias arranged in the in transverse rows, and that too is present in the form of 8 plates in its body, and that plates composed of cilia, rows of cilia are called teens. Okay, teens means there are certain plates that spread throughout its body. Plates means plates composed of cilia, rows of cilia. That plates are called teens. And what is its purpose? It helps in its locomotion. And such type of plates, how many number are present? 8 vertical rows of ciliary combs. 8 vertical plates are present throughout its surface, radiate throughout the surface of that animal. And in each plate, so many transverse row. Suppose this is a plate that running throughout its body. It will contain so many transverse rows of cilia. By the beating of these cilia, the organism move. Okay. Then it has a planktonic lifestyle. Planktonic lifestyle. Why we are telling that the ctenophores have a planktonic lifestyle? Because its way of movement, locomotion is mainly by drifting in the open ocean. Drifting means what? It moves only with the help of water current. In what direction the water current is moving, in that the same direction itself, the ctenophores also move. So, yeah, in no other way it can. So, in that way, we can tell that ctenophores have a planktonic like lifestyle. And we cannot say one more thing. We cannot say that all the ctenophores are having this planktonic like lifestyle. Some are weak swimmers too, using that cilia comb in the comb like pattern, arranged cilia, beating of that cilia. Some members that comes under the ctenophore can swim. They are weak swimmers. Then another feature, we are moving to another feature, that is tentacles. They possess two tentacles, long retractable tentacles. Using these tentacles, they capture its prey. And these tentacles can be extended. It can be extended or withdrawn into some specialized sheaths. Um, and from the main tentacle stem, suppose this is the main tentacle stem, many side branches are also present. That side branches are called tendilla. To show you the tendilla. These are the tendilla. Tendilla, we can see so many side branches are emerging from that main tentacle. We can see that these tentacles are inserted inside some sheath, tentacle sheath, this red colored portion. So I hope that you understood what is tendilla. Tendilla side branches from the main tentacle. And this tendilla, we have seen that they are very short, thin, flexible. Not the its features short, thin, flexible. And why? Why need to have such tendillas? Because of the presence of tendilla, its surface for prey capture is increased. So that much. See, suppose this is a main tentacle. If this tentacle only present, then using this only it can capture the prey. As so many side branches also there, it can enter, it can hold, it can trap the prey in such a way. In that way, the prey capture surface area is increased because of the presence of tendilla. Then regarding the food, the ctenophores are carnivorous. It feeds on zooplanktons, crustaceans, jellyfish, some fish eggs, etc. Anyhow, they are carnivorous. And we have seen that in the video that I shown to you in the former slide, we notice the bioluminescence characteristics of ctenophores is very interesting and spectacular. And they emit light because of some chemical reactions happens in their body. And what's the purpose of this bioluminescence? For communication, for communicate between each other, and also by producing this bioluminescence, it can attract its prey and can feed that prey, and also to frighten its enemy as a method of defense. In all these methods, they are using the bioluminescence. Then we are going to see an interesting feature characteristics of in this ctenophores. There is the presence of coloblasts. Coloblasts means what? Coloblasts are certain cells because in Cnidarians, they possess nematocysts. But here, instead of nematocysts, they possess these cells, coloblast cells. They are its weapon. They are just like gum bottles. We can call it like that. They are gum bottle because inside these cells, gum glue is present. It helps it to capture its prey. They are sticky cells. They are sticky cells found in the tentacles. Where it is present, tentacles, or it can also present over its body surface. This tentacula, we know the tentilla, sorry, tentilla, we have seen that tentilla as are the side branches emerge from the main tentacle. These tentillas are heavily, densely studded with this coloblast cells. So that means that it helps the tentacle, its opposite tentacle, to capture the prey, to trap the prey so tightly without freeing it. And that adhesive granules that present inside the coloblast. So coloblast, I told you that there are certain cells, sticky cells found on the tentacles and tentilla. Inside that cells present some adhesive granules. And what happens to these granules? These granules will break whenever that coloblast comes in contact with some prey. Okay, and because of that it helps that tentacle or that organism to capture its prey so effectively. Then we are going to see about the subepidermal nerve net. Its nervous system is nerve net type. um, Consists of subepidermal nerve net, and status is also present. So nerve net and statosis, these two are its a sensory component that present in ctenophores, and they help to maintain the organism's balance. And what about its orientation? What should be and what is the proper way of its orientation? That all is determined by these two features, nerve net and statocyst. And because of the presence of this nerve net, it can very suddenly quickly can locate whatever thing it confront, whether it is a prey or some other obstacle or anything. So it's a sensor and sensing. And this ctenophores also possess a larva. Its name is Sidipid larva. Its picture is shown here. And regarding the reproduction, they usually reproduce sexually. Most of the ctenophores are hermaphrodites also. Hermaphrodites, I think you know what is hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite means both gonads are present in the same individual. That is hermaphrodite. So most of the ctenophores are hermaphrodites, and its eggs are released, eggs as well as sperms are releasing to water, and the fertilization is external, not that thing here. The fertilization is external. Then regeneration of lost parts, it also shows a property of regenerating lost parts. Okay, and that property, to some extent, we call it as a means for asexual reproduction. So that's what mentioned here. Sometimes it is a means for asexual reproduction, regeneration. If some portion is lost in its place, again another new structure will form. So that also a notable feature of the ctenophores. Around 200 species were identified so far, and its examples. Common examples are Pleurobrachia. I will show you. This is Pleurobrachia. Then Coeloplana. Coeloplana is this. That means members that comes under the Ctenophora vary in their shapes. So compared with the first one, it's entirely different. Then Tinoplana, it's also has a medusa-like appearance. Then Barrow is somewhat a flatworm-like, ribbon-like. To means to some extent we can tell it is a flattened, small, short ribbon-like organism. Barrow. So these are the examples. So we are moving to its classification. Two classes are there under this phylum Ctenophora. They are tentaculata and nuda. Tentaculata and nuda. These are the two classes. And in tentaculata, common examples or those members that comes under this class, they all bear tentacles. They all bear tentacles. And examples are Pleurobrachia and some other ctenophores. And Nuda is the next class. Under this Nuda, that ctenophores they lack tentacle. Examples beret and nace. Then we are going to learn about Pleurobrachia. Pleurobrachia. Let's see. Its common name is sea gooseberry. Gooseberry. So its appearance is just like a gooseberry. Let's see. Exactly. It has a gooseberry like gooseberry. It has so many lines that passing in this way. These lines are nothing other than that place bearing the cilia, ciliary place that is helping this organism to move. So anyhow, because of that appearance, it is known as sea gooseberry. Then what are these features? Let's see. It's a spear-shaped, this type of shape. And it's a very delicate bodied animal, transparent body. And its diameter is it ranges from 5 to 20 millimeter. And symmetry is biradial symmetry. I already told you what is biradial. Then in the oral pole, sorry, oral pole, a centrally placed mouth is present. Mouth opens into stomach. This portion is the stomach. This portion, and from the stomach, so many radiating channels are emerging, and this channels are emerging in this way, and they all pass parallel to the ciliary planes. Teens, ciliary planes. What is its another name? Teens. I will show you. So, and also from the lateral side, two long extensible tentacles also present, and the base of that each tentacles are accommodated in a deep pouch. What is its name? Sheath. Tentacle sheath. Here we can see. And from the main tentacle, we can see so many tentillas. Tentillas, we can see so many tentillas emerge. And eight equidistant. Regarding this, I mentioned you while telling about the radial channels of the stomach. So those channels are running parallel to this teens, 18s, ciliary plates. So you can see ciliary plates arranged in in this way throughout its body. And because of the beating of these cilia, this organism is moving. 8 equidistant vertical teens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 teens. And it contains transverse rows of cilia in the form of comb. So that is why these organisms are known as comb jellies. Each teen is composed of several thousands of cilia. Okay. And next we are going to see about its body lays. Ectodome. Surface is covered by ectodome. And this ectodome itself lines mouth, then pharynx and the cavity of the tentacle sheath. Tentacle sheath means is the that sac that accommodate the tentacle, long tentacle. So its lining, pharynx, mouth's lining, all these are lined by ectoderm. Then beyond the region of pharynx, it is lined by endoderm. That means the gastrovascular cavity. A gastrovascular cavity beyond the point of pharynx is lined by endoderm. And between the ectoderm and endoderm, there present a mesoglia. And this mesoglia, here it is a cellular type. That means it consists of so many cells. Cells means connective tissue cells, connective tissue fiber cells. Long muscle cells also present. So, because of the presence of this connective tissue fibers and muscle cells in the mesoglia, it is strengthened. That's also a notable thing in the case of the Ctenophora. Mesoglia contain, along with all these things, it also contains some wandering amoeboid. Amoeboid cells means cells having some um, irregular shape. Such type cells also present in the mesoglia. Then digestion is done by the gastrovascular system. Gastrovascular system consists of 8 meridional canals. Shown you. Just suppose this is that organism and in its body uh, 18s. That means that the comb plates are running like this way. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Suppose. So 18s are there and parallel to that runs that stomach canals that emerge from the stomach runs parallel to these 8 teens. So, because of the help of that canals that emerge from the stomach, all the nutrients can distribute effectively throughout its body. Then, regarding the lateral tentacles, that long tentacles are muscular, they are extensible, and also it is contractile. And this tentacles bears, we have already have seen that it bears so many side branches called tendilla. It is studded with the coloblast cells. Okay. Then we can we can know some more points, additional points regarding this coloblast cells. This coloblast cells consists of a swollen apical cap that is positioned at the top of a stalk. So at the top of a stalk, a swollen apical cap is present, and this cap bears so many adhesive granules. These are the adhesive granules. They contain sticky substance, and also along with that, it possesses a spiral filament. Spiral filament that coils within the cell. So this is the structure of the coloblast cells. Inside this granules present the sticky substance. When encountered, it confounds some prey. That sticky substance adhere to that prey, and at that time the spiral filament it uncoils, it extends, and it wrap and coil the prey and helps the organism to engulf that prey to feed. So that is coloblast cells. And that extension of that spiral filament, it increases the surface area for the adhesion and also enhances or helps that organism to hold the prey. The next point, next thing, that sensory structure also we need to understand that present in the ctenophores, that is statocyst. It is present in the aboral center of the aboral pore, and it consists of a ciliated pit that we can see, ciliated pit, and inside that pit present so many calcareous particles that we can see here, calcareous particles, that calcareous particles are called statolith, and these statoliths are present at the top of four clusters of cilia. And what is the importance of the statocyst? It is very important in maintaining the equilibrium. So it is the organ of equilibrium, the statocyst. The reproduction, I already told you that it is a hermaphrodite, and the gonads are situated in the walls of the meridional canals. Yeah, here, the gonads is situated in the walls of the meridional canals that run parallel to the teens. And at the time of reproduction, gametes, sperms or eggs that are gametes, they are discharged into the canals that emerge from the or spread from the stomach. To that canals, the gametes are discharged, and then finally that gametes can released into the seawater through its mouth. And on reaching the seawater, sperm and egg meet together and it undergoes fertilization. So that's about reproduction. So I hope that it's clear. All points regarding this Pleurobrachia is clear to you. And next we are going to see its evolutionary significance. In what way ctenophores are evolutionary significant? In the beginning of the section, I told that in so many ways it is similar with the Cnidarians. So let's see in what all way it is similar to Cnidarians. In that sense, it is considered as an intermediate between Cnidarians that are having radial symmetry and platyhelminths that are having bilateral symmetry. So in that sense, it's very important, evolutionary significance. So let's see what are its affinities with the Cnidarians. Like Cnidarians, its body also gelatinous, and most of the members have a medusa-like appearance. We know that medusa have this umbrella-like appearance. So in Ctenophora also, most of the organisms have medusoid type body, and in Cnidarians they possess a special structure to capture prey, that is nidocytes in the tentacles. In the place this organism, this phylum, the organism that present in this phylum also have specialized cells called coloblasts to capture the prey with and here instead of stinging it glue the prey to the tentacles. Anyhow, both possess a special structure to capture the prey. Then radial symmetry. Cnidarians have radial symmetry, and like that way ctenophores also have radial symmetry. Gastrovascular cavity in the case of Cnidarians also it's a branching. We have seen that mouth opens to gullet, then it reaches stomach and then radiates. So many radial canal, and they are all joint form ring canal in the case of Cnidarians. Likewise here also branching is possible to see in the case of gastrovascular cavity. Then statocyst present in Cnidarians also. Here also in Ctenophora also statocyst is present. And gonads, in the case of Cnidarians, gonads are endodermal in origin. Ctenophores also, the gonads are endodermal in origin. So next we are going to see its affinity with the platyhelminths. Uh, Platyhelminths and ctenophores both have a musculature in the middle layer. Where we see in that musculature layer in the case of ctenophores between ectoderm and endoderm, I told you that a layer called mesoglia is present. In the case of mesoglia, it is composed of muscle cells and some connective tissue cells. So in that way, we can understood that its middle layer of the body is musculine. So that is a feature similar with that of platyhelminths. And both ctenophores and platyhelminths both are to some extent they look similar in its shape. Like some members that comes under ctenophores, they have the shape like that of platyhelminths, that is flatworms. And in platyhelminths, some members or platyhelminths possess cilia, and this ctenophores also possess cilia in their body. And some members comes under the Ctenophora. They show crawling type locomotion, and that type of locomotion is present in platyhelminths. And then cellular mesoglia, presence of cellular mesoglia, that is another feature common between platyhelminths and ctenophores. So these are the affinities with the platyhelminths. And in this way, we have thoroughly learned about the phylum Ctenophore, its general characters, and its one means example Pleurobrachia and its evolutionary significance. So by this, I'm going to wind up this section. Thank you.
I'm an icon, man. And my girl about a 10. I should fuck her in a Benz.